Something had to give. And if you've been watching this team closely, you already knew this moment was coming. It wasn't a matter of if, it was when. And now it's official. The Toronto Blue Jays have made the call that a lot of fans have been asking for, and it's a big one. Ross Atkins has confirmed it. Jeff Hoffman is no longer the closer. Let that sink in for a second, because this isn't a minor adjustment. This is a major shift in how this team is going to try to win games late. And honestly, it's overdue. If you've watched the ninth innings lately, you've felt it. The tension, the uncertainty, the feeling that even with a lead, nothing is safe. That's not how a contending team operates, and the front office finally acknowledged it. And honestly, that might be the best move right now. Because what they were doing wasn't working. You can talk about patience, you can talk about sticking with your guy, but there comes a point where results matter more than anything else. And the results just weren't there. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Because if you look at Hoffman's numbers, they don't make sense. On one hand, he's been getting swings and misses at an elite level. We're talking top-tier whiff rates, hitters chasing his stuff, the raw ability still clearly there. But then you look at the ERA, and it's a completely different story. That kind of disconnect usually points to one thing: execution under pressure. And that's where the conversation shifts from mechanics to mindset. Because when you're blowing leads, when you're struggling to locate in big moments, when things spiral quickly, that's not just physical. That's between the ears. Even John Schneider hinted at that recently. They've been trying to figure out what's going on, trying to support him, trying to get him back on track. But at some point, you have to make a decision that's best for the team as a whole. And that's exactly what this is. Now, to Hoffman's credit, the way he's handled it matters. He didn't go out and complain. He didn't make it about himself. He basically said he's willing to do whatever the team needs. And that's huge. Because this isn't the end for him. This is a reset. If anything, this could actually help him. Take him out of the highest pressure situation, let him work in the 7th or 8th inning, let him rebuild confidence, find his command again, and then maybe, just maybe, he earns his way back into that role later. Because the stuff hasn't disappeared. That's the key point here. The ability is still there. It's just about putting it together consistently. Now, let's talk about what this means moving forward, because this is where things get real. The 9th inning is now wide open. And that can go one of two ways. Either someone steps up and takes control of the role, or it becomes a constant shuffle where nobody really locks it down. If it's Varland, you're looking at a guy with solid stuff and the potential to grow into that role long term. If it's Fisher, you're betting on upside and strong strikeout numbers. If it's Rogers in certain matchups, you're relying on experience and consistency. But no matter who it is, one thing is clear. The leash is going to be short. Because this team can't afford to keep dropping games late. And that brings us to the bigger picture. The Toronto Blue Jays are at a point where every game matters. The record isn't where it needs to be, and the margin for error is shrinking fast. You can't keep giving games away in the 9th inning and expect to climb back into contention. That's why this move matters so much. It's not just about one player. It's about changing the outcome of games. Now, outside of the bullpen news, there are a few other things you need to keep an eye on. George Springer is still out, but he's close. And when I say close, I mean days, not weeks. He's already doing most of the work, hitting, fielding, moving around, just not fully running the bases yet. And when he comes back, that lineup changes immediately. You get experience, you get energy, you get a legitimate leadoff presence. That's something they've been missing. There's also some interesting roster decisions coming up. Guys like Lennon Sosa and Eloy Jimenez are right in that danger zone where one of them could be the odd man out when Springer returns. And those are not easy decisions because both bring something different to the table. But that's part of getting healthy. When your roster is full, you have to make tough calls. And speaking of tough situations, let's address what happened on the mound recently, because it's hard to ignore. Max Scherzer has not been himself. That last outing was rough, and there's no way around it. Giving up runs early, putting the team in a hole, it puts pressure on everyone else to be perfect. And the frustrating part is, the team is starting to show signs of life offensively. They're putting together better at-bats, they're creating chances. But when you're constantly playing from behind, it's hard to sustain that. So now, heading into this next stretch, everything feels connected. You've got a bullpen adjustment that needed to happen. You've got key players about to return. You've got a rotation trying to find consistency. And you've got a lineup that's slowly starting to wake up. This is one of those moments in a season where things can go one of two ways. Either these changes spark something and the team starts stacking wins, or it's just another move that doesn't fully fix the underlying issues. But I'll say this decision on Hoffman was necessary. You can debate the timing, you can debate the approach, but you can't argue with the logic. The ninth inning needed a reset. Now it's about what happens next. Who steps up? Who takes control? Who proves they can handle that pressure? Because whoever does, they're not just winning a role. They're becoming a key piece of this team moving forward. And for Hoffman, this isn't the end of the story. Far from it. This is a chance to regroup, to adjust, to come back stronger. We've seen guys bounce back from this before. It's all about how he responds. So keep your eyes on these next few games. Watch how they use the bullpen. Watch who gets the ball in the ninth. Watch how the team responds to getting healthier. Because this right here, this is a turning point. Maybe not the final answer, but definitely a step in a new direction. And now the pressure shifts. Not just on one player, but on the entire bullpen to figure it out.